Welcome back to Solo Spotlight. I'm your host, Ryan McDougall, and in today's episode, we're sitting down with Steven Nguyen, founder of Drunken Phở, Vietnamese chili oil, a full-time dad and nail tech who turned his mom's Vietnamese satay into a real business. His first batch gone in 48 hours. From there, he started weighing every gram, drop testing jars, and grinding through batch after batch until the margins finally clicked on batch 6. In this conversation, we talk product, compliance, retail cadence, and the content that drives sales. This is Solo Spotlight, episode 52, Steven Nguyen. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Solo Spotlight. I'm here with Steven Nguyen.
Yeah.
Nguyen. Got it. First try. Creator of Drunken Phở.
Yes, sir.
Vietnamese oil, chili oil, Vietnamese chili oil. Don't forget to check out the Drunken Phở, drunkenpho.ca.
Yeah.
Check out the chili oil.
Yeah. Edmonton made, proud Canada. And we love that the fact that we're made in Canada.
That's awesome. First and foremost, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was really excited when you reached out. I was really pumped about it. And I was like, even like the week before you asked me, I was like, oh man, it'd be so sick if we could tell our story one day. And then your message came up and I was like, yo, babe, we got on a podcast. And I was like, yo, I was so pumped for this, dude.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. And we were just saying how small of a world, how like Backstairs Burger kind of led me to get the interview with them, but also kind of propelled us to get an interview. So it's really cool. It's really cool how like the community in Edmonton
100%.
is getting so close knit that and
everybody will know everybody.
Exactly.
Like, I think eventually you're gonna connect with somebody, especially even with me and with Levi. Like I got so much other connections from doing that backstage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really cool that he was the one that first ever collabed with us with any restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the times, even when we do like food videos for restaurants, Levi was the first one. It's like, dude, we got to do a collab. I was like, sick, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What he got going on, man, is something special. And I said, like, you rarely ever see that in like the restaurant industry where people are actually trying to like amalgamate their brand into other people's brand, because a lot of people feel like, oh, it's gonna like stray away from what we're trying to do, but it's as you can see, it's very successful, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
It really, I think that's really what separates him, the difference from other burger is because he will always have like a monthly feature.
Right.
So I think that's really unique in a sense. And he brings in like really good food content people. So I like Max, I think Max will mukbang. Like I saw all his old stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, it's going to be sick to have our own burger with him.
Yeah. Dog. This dog, I always say it's like a 50-50 shot of whether he wants to behave.
It's cool. It's like pet therapy.
Yeah, exactly. But let's get into it.
No, for sure.
So you start off, you're doing nails, and out of nowhere, you're just like, yo, we should take our moms.
Which is even crazier because like people ask us, is like, how do we came up with the name Drunken Phở? Because they love the brand, right? So I went to Vietnam in November last year, and then me and my boys went out, and after the bar, we ate at this pho place. I was like, man, it'd be so sick to have like an after hours pho place. So I'm like, oh, Drunken Phở would be a really cool name. So I made the Instagram, took the handle, and then like a couple weeks after, I was like, do I really want to do nails for like 10 hours and then serve drunk people after? I was like, you know what? That's not something I wanted to do. So then we kind of left the Instagram for like a couple weeks. And then one day I was doing nails and kept thinking, I was like, man, there's got to be something I could do with this. I turned to him, I'm like, yo, babe, we should try selling mom's chili oil. She's like, yeah, sure. And then after that, I started taking out brands. I started thinking about like, how am I going to do this? And then when we first got started, I remember I even asked my mom, I was like, oh, hey, mom, can you make me a batch of this like satay for us? She's like, yeah, sure. He's like, oh, yeah, we have a bunch of friends in Calgary that wanted to take it. So then I started taking all these clips. I started announcing on Instagram, I'm like, hey, I'm going to steal my mom's recipe. And then the next thing you know, we started posting out videos. And then, here we are. Like fast forward like a couple months, we've been sold out like 10 batches. We're in flagship stores now, like shout out to Lucky Supermarket that took us on for the first place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So you start. What was the original reception like when you were telling like your wife was this like a recipe where even your mom was like, "Yo, I don't know."
Like, actually, how I got the idea to sell it is that usually, like, my mom would make a batch and like friends would come over and be like, "Oh yeah, can we have some?" She would give it out to people. She had sold like a couple jars to our friends before. That's when it clicked. I was like, "Oh man,
We
this
could
is
sell this.
yeah, we can sell this." Like people tell us all the time how good it is, and even with me, it's like when you eat something really good, you know it's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know there's a market out there, and chili oil like is such a it's such a niche thing for people to want to love.
So we were just talking about this before we started, but like define actually what like the chili. So it's called Satē.
Yeah.
So what is the actual like content? Like what would it, so it's all spicy.
Yeah.
So
So what differentiates us from other chili oil that you see on the market is that we use lemongrass, ginger, garlic, and then fresh chilies, where a lot of chili oils, they use like dry chilies.
okay.
And they don't have the other components. And most of the stuff that we have in this chili oil is like the foundation of like Vietnamese cooking.
Okay.
Like everything from lemongrass, garlic, soy sauce, and that's the one differential thing that you'll see from any other thing on the market right now.
And if you go to Vietnam, do they put this on everything?
Yeah.
Like this is like
This
Frank's hot sauce for
Yeah.
like Vietnam.
Well, pretty much ideally this was only made for pho. My mom only made this for pho.
Okay.
But for years, like, I put it with marinades, I made it with pasta. Like I used it quite universal.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just got to the concept. I was like, man, we should just put this out.
Right.
Let's just throw it out there, see who wants to try it. And then, yeah.
What was like the logistical process of actually like getting the brand off the ground in terms of like finding like, because I'm sure at the start it's all about like what can I do at the cheapest cost?
Yeah. Ideally, when we made our first batch, there was like probably like 17 jars.
Right.
But then not knowing which type of jars we could use, I had to go online and I had to get like probably 8 different samples. Because originally the jar that we first put it in was a 16 ounce. And then there was no way that we can take, like one batch only made 4 jars.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so what's the best universal size? So we put in the 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 8 ounce, and the 6 ounce just made the most sense for us. And that logistic probably took us like weeks of kind of figuring.
Right.
Yeah. Just the jarring itself was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Cause like the first thing I see is like, how long would this take for someone, like even if they just used it for say universally, like
Yeah.
how long would something like this like last the average consumer? Like a few weeks, a few
Yeah,
months?
like week and a half.
Week and a half.
Week and a half to 2 weeks is what we noticed that people like they're just going through it. Some
And-
people gone in like 3-4 days.
And you know, you really hit like a hotbed of like Edmonton with like the
Oh,
culture and
crazy.
everything of like,
Wild.
this is definitely a taste that people,
Yeah, the people want. Like the really, I find like the hard thing about Vietnamese is a very strong and bold taste. But I think people really are looking for authentic taste for Vietnamese food.
right.
So this is like, there's no hold bar on it. Like you taste everything to the T. So of course, originally when we first launched, I was a little nervous because like, man, can really people like to eat this? Because it's really strong. And then when we first launched our first batch, I think we sold out in like 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, it was just like a lot of support, like a lot of the nail techs or a lot of the hairstylists around our studios wanted to buy it. And of course, like friends wanted to buy it. And then after we sold out, I was like, holy shit, like this can work. Like
Right.
this really can work. And then after that is when I started to really think about, okay, how much what can I do to increase our batches without ruining the recipe? Because like anybody would know, Vietnamese moms don't have recipes.
Mm-hmm.
They just cook by feel.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I keep the same taste for my mom without jeopardizing volume to taste?
And is there any like issues like preserving it as well? Or is that like very, like when you look at like some, like a lot of people in order to make like the more kind of scalability,
Yeah.
the more you kind of have to add like ingredients that are like, make sure everything's like shelf, like sustainable, and it's not going to like, even if you have it in storage or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Was there any things like that where, or even like food regulations?
Yeah, so I even asked my mom, I'm like, what's the thing in our product that gives it the shelf life? And usually it's the fermentation of the fish sauce. So the fermentation and the sodium in the soy sauce alone is enough to keep it shelf stable.
Right.
And that's all the things that keep it. Because usually I ask my mom, like, how long can we keep this for? It's like about a year. I was like, oh shit.
We're fine.
Yeah, I'm a golden.
We're golden.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, I'm like, are we sure that after these? And then we've had it in our house all the time.
Yeah.
Like we keep that one. My mom makes a massive jar, and it like lasts us the whole year.
Huh.
So that's why I'm like, okay, this kind of works. And then I asked my mom, like what's the thing that really helps you keep it? And it made sense. And I had to like do research on it. The high sodium in the fish sauce, because it's already a fermented thing. So pretty much everything is just sitting in there for fermentation that keeps it self-stable.
What was the biggest challenge getting from like the concept to selling your first jar? What do you think the biggest challenge was?
Definitely, making that first post. I think a lot of the issue is like, I knew it was really good, but I didn't know if people actually was going to buy it. And then, of course, after the first batch, you're like, oh, man, did people really like it? And, of course, I asked people, I'm like, hey, how was it? And people said it was good. I'm like, are you saying it's good? Is it actually good? Or are you...
You're just being my friend?
Yeah,
or...
exactly, right? Because everybody that first bought from us was our friend. Even the people that, we gave it to, we knew the people liked, but they were Vietnamese. We're trying to expand it to like a different culture where I was just like, is people really going to like the product? So then after the second batch, I was like, oh, man, even till now, I still ask people, I'm like, do you really like it? Is it really that good? I get maybe like 10, 20 DMs every day where people are like, we love your product. I'm like, hey, oh, really? Like, I still feel like...
You still feel like the jitters of it.
Yeah, of course, right? Like, even with how much success we've gotten so far, like, I still feel like, man, is it really that good?
Right. Kind of like, I always talk about this of like, whenever people are starting something or having a brand, they get a level of feedback and they almost have like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're like, nah, it can't be me.
Yeah, right.
Like, no, there's no way, man.
And exactly, like this is our first food thing, right? And like I said, I'm competing with everybody. Chili Crisp, Momofuku, like there's so much chili brands.
And in Vietnamese, like chili oils, like it's Satē and then Chili Crisp, right? Like those are the two.
Yeah.
What is like the defining factor between the two of those?
So I think there's three main regions in Vietnamese that's like really known for cuisine. So there's northern, southern, and like deep south, like Vietnam. So my mom falls more onto the south side, and then north side Vietnamese chili was actually a little bit different too. And then there's people where I think the chili crisp is more of like the chili crisp style. Where my mom is just more of like fresh ingredients and not as that crispy taste. Because I get people ask all the time, it's like, oh, can you put like crispy garlic on? I'm like, it doesn't work.
No,
it wouldn't do well with this product.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting too because you kind of want to follow your own lane, but then you also want to take that feedback and be like, how can I use that? And what works and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, and of course I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, what happens if we add like crispy garlic into it? She's like, due to the fact that we use like the fresh ginger and the fresh garlic, it would just make that garlic too moist. You wouldn't get that texture anyways.
Right.
So then as soon as you bite it, it would be like a chewy garlic feeling instead of that crispy garlic feeling.
Right. So now making your batches, so like you're starting to sell, what was like your first strategy with like actually marketing it? Was it an online store or was it like the pop-ups?
Yeah, so we did DMs first. So originally I was like, hey, if you want to order, let us know. You can send us a DM. And then I did see Shopify was doing like, I think like a 3-month trial for like $1.
Right.
So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
Why not try it?
Yeah.
So we launched our first website off that, and that just made it easier to be sending people to links.
Right.
I think in the beginning, it's like if you're I was doing it on Google Forums at first, and you have to go to every single forum. You had to make sure all the emails were collected properly, which was a hassle because I did lose some orders, but thank God, they understood.
Yeah.
Just try and keep track of inventory was too much.
And then with like Shopify and stuff like that, it's a lot more seamless in
It's
terms
just
of
easier. Payment collections. Like I was taking e-transfers than cash. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's a tough thing
yeah,
to deal with.
especially when you start to grow.
Yeah, and most people now don't even want to pay cash.
No.
Everything's by tap anyways.
Yeah.
And if you can make the process from wanting to buy the purchase to buying the purchase like easy, you're more likely just to get the sales. Right?
So your funnel is basically like word of mouth,
Yeah.
social media, back to the site.
Yeah.
And then the site started to grow. And then so like take me through that where like the site's growing now, you're getting a little bit more feedback. Like has the product itself like stayed the same through this whole timeline?
Oh, I played with the batches very differently because usually like my mom's satay like her satay is very chunky because it's eventually just made to eat with pho. So if you put the chunky in the pho, it'll kind of just like blumo.
Right.
So I had to try to figure out consistency where you can use it for everything. You can use it with pasta. You can use it with marinades. I tell people you can mix it with like sauces. So I had to play with the formula a little bit. And then eventually, like even now, I'm still trying to play with like spice levels.
Right.
Because people are still saying that like it's not as spicy as before.
Right.
Where I'm like, I'm actually adding more chilies now than before.
So it's like, so what's the issue? Right. Like, so
Yes.
is it a threshold thing where that person's just really good with spice? Or is it like, how do you measure that?
And I think it's because when you eat our chili in the beginning, you do get used to it. And depending on if you get a scoop of more, because it's blended chilies with fresh ingredients, right? So you're going to get some scoop more with like lemongrass and the garlic and less chilies. And then sometimes if you use more chilies, you're going to get more chilies and less the lemongrass.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out ratio-wise where it's like you can get the same taste for every spoonful.
Right. And now making this, like, I think about scaling up and I think like, how did like the manufacturing process look like where it was like you're selling bottles here and there through DMs? Like, what are the logistics in terms of like business or like even regulations to like what took you to like Lucky 7?
Yeah,
like,
so that was I think one of the hardest hurdles is because we grew so fast. Like in a matter of like 3 months, we sold like 400 jars. And then getting into our first Lucky supermarket, we got the attention of AHS.
Right.
So as soon as AHS found out that we were selling something,
Now they're auditing it.
and then I was selling from home.
Right.
So I didn't have all like the commercial licensing and the permits. And as soon as I got that email from AHS, like my heart sank.
Yeah, because you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna shut us down. And you know what? They were really great because they were just like, you just got to stop selling for a little bit. So then, thank God, we just finished selling our batches. And I did have to contact Lucky's. I'm like, hey, we got to pull everything off shelves right now. I'm figuring out the logistics. I'm in the process of getting a proper label. And they were really great about it. They're like, hey, no worries. We'll take everything off. Let us know like what you're going to do and how we can help. So they were fantastic about it.
So what did you have to get, like a separate kitchen?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to find the commercial kitchen, get all my permits ready. But then even getting all the permits, like it takes weeks.
Right.
I was stressing out every day.
Right.
And I was trying not to lose momentum. So thank God I had the mukbang video.
Right.
Because
so is this where this started off? Like to keep momentum, like the mukbang?
Yeah. Well, the mukbang is actually what's got it started.
Okay.
So originally, like when we first launched the product, I was like, how can I get people's attention?
Right.
So I was like, I work 10 hours a day. I'm a full-time dad. I don't have, I can't do all those crazy contents where it's like, oh, here, this is our product. Like I needed something where I can like, what can I shoot per day and just put it out there. So I went to ChatGPT, gave it to my schedule. I'm like, hey, I do a nail salon. I work 12 hours. I go to the gym. I'm a full-time dad. I only have between 30 minutes to an hour one day. Give me an idea that I can use. And it's like, oh, you should do mukbangs. I was like, hey, cool. Did my first mukbang at home. Crazy. I had kids running upstairs.
Yeah.
My parents were talking hella loud and my wife was trying to talk loud. It was just madness.
And you're like, yo.
And eventually my parents were just like, what the hell are you doing? Like my mom was like, my mom's like, I'm not talking that loud. I'm like, Mom, you're talking so loud. I'm like, please give me 10 minutes to shoot this video.
Yeah.
And then eventually I showed my mom the review, like first video. I'm like, hey, we got our first 3,000 views. And
Yeah.
then like we're selling out. And then eventually my parents knew.
Yeah.
Like my parents would tell my daughter, my niece, like, don't shoot. Uncle's shooting the video, like be quiet. And still even then they were trying to be quiet. They can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, fuck, I gotta shoot in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what if we shot in the car? So I shot in the car. Setup was the hardest setup ever because like I had a food tray.
Yeah, like a
holding my phone like this.
Yeah.
And like the tray, the food would like slip off. So I'm trying to eat shit and I'm trying to hold it and I'm sweating and I'm trying to clip videos. And eventually like I bought a food tray off Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I bought another food tray off at the dollar store. I went to go buy 2-ply Velcro.
Yeah.
So I had to put this so it would stick. So it's a little bit wider, right?
Right.
And then eventually I had to get a harness for my chest where I had to use 2 hands that was visible.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after a while, it took off for like a little bit. A couple of videos did, I think, like 800 views. And then one comment on TikTok was like, where the fuck are your black gloves? It's like, you're not a mukbang until you have black gloves.
Okay.
So I told my wife, I was like, hey, babe, can you go on Amazon to find me black gloves? She's like, why? I'm like, I just want to use it for the video.
Yeah.
So then she's like, I'm not ordering you black gloves. So lucky I worked with hairstylists. I was like, hey, can I take a pair of your black gloves? Then that first video like took off. Like
That's
for some
interesting.
reason, the black gloves, it's just either it'll make people mad or it'll make you a true mukbang.
Huh.
Because I remember getting so much comments in the video where people are like, why are you wearing black gloves? Why are you wearing black gloves? Why are you wearing black gloves?
Yeah.
And then it just generated more comments.
Right.
So then for me, I was like, oh, I wear black gloves because I don't want to keep I just want to keep my hands clean.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
And then eventually it started to take off. And then, black gloves became my thing. Like,
That's crazy.
I would go to like friends' events and people would be like, my buddies would be like, hey, where's your black gloves? I'm like, yeah, I got a pair in the car. You want
whole box.
Yeah, I got a whole fucking box.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So now when you're making these videos, what was like the learning phase of like learning, like, did you do like any like storyboarding or like scripting or like, no, it's just like off the cuff.
Yeah, I just like eventually I eventually just kept filming. And then I think in the beginning, like I was really shy. Everybody hates their voice fucking on camera.
Right.
Time, right? Like,
it's
just like you listen, you're like, I sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
So I kept my mukbangs just for sounds. And then of course people were like, you're chewing your food sounds disgusting. And then people didn't know about the chili oil.
Right.
It was all about the food, right? Like when I pour the chili oil on the food, like if we don't mention that it was our product.
Right.
You didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So eventually I was like, and I finally get to talk.
Yeah.
So after that first video, I was like, oh man, I sound like an idiot, but I didn't care. I just clipped stuff together. And then now I was like, oh man, like Black Betty, man.
Well, at some point you do also have to like get out of your own way.
Yeah, you do.
Even when it comes to like starting a brand or trying to sell stuff,
yeah,
like you almost have to get to the point where you're like, I'm actually all right with getting this type of attention, but I also understand with this type of attention also comes a level of criticism, and like you just have to be willing to like take all that in.
100%. And I think one of the clips, because I follow like a lot of motivational stuff on like TikTok, and I think the clips from Alex Hormezi, you know who he is?
Yeah.
Man, he had a short clip on TikTok. He's like, on the other side of cringe is success.
Yeah.
And that really hit home. After that, I was like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
No matter how cringy I feel, what people would think, I'm like, I got to do it. Or else, and I felt bad. It didn't do justice for the food from the restaurants that I was getting either. Because I couldn't talk about their food. I was just eating it. So I wanted to actually help them in the sense of like, they use fresh ingredients like Baxter's Burgers with their perfectly smashed burgers. Like being able to talk about products like that really helped build connections with me with restaurateurs too. And then
to get your brand out there.
Yeah, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Like people don't know what's in our ingredients unless I actually talk about it.
So what were your early like selection process in terms of like finding like, because you talk about how like the chili oil, like you talk about how it's like universal.
Yeah.
So like how did you narrow that down to find like, okay, this is like a brand that I want to highlight,
Yeah.
and B, like I would want my customer to use this chili oil for said,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? How do you create that
So
collaborative?
that's the issue that I'm still trying to figure out right now. Because ideally, it's like when we first made food videos, I'm like, I got to do whatever's trending. So
Mm.
I go on TikTok. I'm like, okay, so what is everybody doing? You know, Chick-fil-A had to run for a little bit, so I made a
Right.
Chick-fil-A video. McDonald's had to run for a little bit. I did theirs, and then I did more of like fried chicken, and then eventually I was like, man, I feel like shit, man. I'm like,
This
I'm
is just too
eating
much.
hella fried food, man.
Yeah,
And I
this
was
is
just
killing
like, this
me.
is killing me, man. And usually like people don't know this, but like I'm actually like a pro bodybuilder. So I ate egg whites and rice cakes for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So like when I first wanted to do like food videos, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
Like
because you're like, I'm
I was
gonna
terrified.
become a tubby.
Yeah, and I used to be fat. I used to be
Yeah.
200.
Right.
Like you look at me, man, like I'm a stocky dude.
Right.
So that was one of the biggest mental leaps that I had to do. And then I was like, okay, so I got actually before we started doing anything of this, I was actually getting ready to prep for my first pro show.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to outweigh everything. I was like, do I really want to start this business or do I want to go for my pro card?
Right.
And I ended up giving up my pro card. Like it
Yeah.
was something that I worked like years for.
Yeah. But this was like a drive. Like this was like something where you were like,
Yeah, I'm like, this is something that we had to do, right? And
now is there still some regret on that side?
no, God.
No.
Now that I actually eat food and I know how good food tastes,
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
Never
I'm good.
eat again.
I'm good.
There's props to anybody that still does it. Like I don't take anything away from them, but
Mhm.
it was mentally draining. And
Yeah.
family members around me like hated me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you just have such a strict lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
Now, but on the other card, like when you talk about scaling a business, what is like the like turmoil that comes with that? Because like there are obviously it's not like not everything's a slam dunk.
Oh God.
So like when in building this, was it late nights, early mornings?
So much. Like people don't realize like I think a lot of people saw us kind of like an overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people saw us from launch to store.
Right.
But they don't realize that all the burn batches, trying to figure out recipes. My mom would she would honestly cook and I'm like, Mom, I gotta scale this. Like you gotta let me weigh out the food so I know ingredients wise.
Mm-hmm.
And even then she would still go off by off. So I'm like, this doesn't taste right. So the next batch I had to weigh out, like even for the fish sauce, it took me 6 batches to finally figure out the quantity of fish sauce that we needed per batch.
Right.
And then figuring out like the jar wise, like I spent tons of money before we figure out like which jar would be tempered, the one that would handle the best, drop tests. I probably wasted 15 jars doing the 1 meter drop test for it to ship.
Right.
And then like again, like I'm a full-time dad.
Yeah.
You know, trying to figure out time to still play with my daughter and still trying to figure out launches, going to get the food, how do we scale, and figure out numbers. Like, I'm not a numbers guy, man. I'm like a high school dropout.
Right.
Like, I know Asian people are supposed to be good with math, but thank God for like ChatGPT. And then finally, I was just like, once after the 3rd batch, I was like, okay, we got a product.
Right.
We are selling consistently. I figured out numbers, profit margins. What are we losing? How much can we get for us to be okay?
How long did it take to like hit a profit margin?
Probably our 6th batch.
6 batch.
Yeah.
So
And that was only a tiny
each
bit of
batch
profit.
takes how long?
6
And-
hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to sell one batch? Because you said one batch was like 14 jars.
Oh, our first batch.
Yes.
Now each batch will make about between 30 to 36.
36.
Yeah, but now batch wise, I'll make 2 portions. So each batch drop. So we started our first batch drop at 17 jars, and then the second one was around 22, and then eventually it was 33, and now we're each batch like our last 3 batches was 175 jars.
Okay.
Is a batch.
Right.
Is our drop actually.
Right. So talk to me about now you're going through this. We kind of already touched on it. You kind of had to scale back from Lucky 7. So you're back in Lucky 7 now.
Yeah.
So what were like the requirements from them? Like what was the difference by doing direct to customer and then getting it on the shelves? Like was there a certain like product amount you had to hit with Lucky 7 where they were like, you need to have X amount of jars? How did that look?
Okay, so when we first started with Lucky's, they reached out to us and was like, would you like to try having your product on shelves? So we tried it with their new location first. and they took a unit which was 12 jars. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll try it with you guys for a week. And I pushed as much content as I possibly could. And I think we sold out in like 3 days. And I was just getting ready to leave on vacation. And then Lucky's DM me is like, we got to have you everywhere. We want you in 5 locations. And I was on vacation. So I was just like, fuck it, let's do it. I'm like, I had no products ready.
Mm-hmm.
I was only praying, please don't take 500 jars.
Right.
Give me a number that as soon as, because I told him, like, yeah, I have it ready. Have all the products ready.
Yeah.
As soon as I can.
But really, you're like, I'm fucking nothing.
I had 0 jars. I didn't even have the jars like ordered from Uline. And I only make batches and I order from Uline. I pick up the morning, go clean, sanitize the jars, buy the batch, make the batch that day.
Right.
I don't keep like overhead.
Right.
Because I couldn't afford it yet.
Right. Because it's like you're not selling enough.
Yeah, exactly. What's the point? And it's fresh ingredients, right? I go into the market that morning, I buy it, I make it. So I was just praying. I was like, as soon as they landed, like, we're going to take 150 jars. I was like, okay.
I can do 150.
I can do that. That's 18 hours.
Yeah.
So as soon as we landed from Vancouver, I drove to Lucky's, bought all the stuff. I canceled my nail appointment with my client the next morning because I need to pick up from Uline.
Yeah.
And then for the next 3 days, we fucking got home, just hammered it out. And then I realized, I'm like, okay. So then I started to realize that if we do any launches with any other stores, I only let them take 1 to 2 units.
Right, which is
24 jars.
24
max.
jars.
Yeah,
because you know you're
I
gonna
call it a trial period.
Yeah, because you know what you're gonna eventually like get too much.
Exactly. I already know that eventually, if they want to take 1 unit, 12 jars, no problem. I could do that.
Yeah.
But if we ever get to the point of Costco, I can't. Walmart, I can't. I can't
just
handle
the amount of yeah.
And thank God I didn't, because I sent tons of emails. Like I send all emails to everybody, to Costco, Save-On, Sobeys, like everybody. No Frills, H&W. Like I'm constantly sending out emails every morning. And then it finally got to realize, like, I'm like, thank God
nobody like, took me up on it.
Yeah, took bait on that. So I was really grateful in that sense. And the opportunities with Lucky's, man, like they're so good at like helping us out.
Yeah.
Like they're like marketing and giving us a top level like shelf. Like they were so good about everything with that, and putting out a stage front. And even we did a pop-up with them yesterday. Like they were so
good. What did you learn about like promotions and stuff through them? Because I'm assuming that like the promotion side of it probably had to like scale up in terms of like bigger banners or bigger like nothing. No, you already had that, or
no? I had nothing.
No,
I had a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like even the pop-up market yesterday was really funny because like as soon as I got in, like everybody, okay, so well, even to mention our first pop-up.
Right.
Like our first pop-up was on Canada Day.
Okay.
So it was really funny because I'm a big believer of manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
The universe will give you everything you ask for. So it's like I was going to Uline to pick up that day because we were finally getting ready to ship across Canada wide. A Merrill food truck sends me a DM. It's like, hey, we have our block party, but one of the vendors couldn't show up. We'll give you that spot for free. Did you want to take it? I sat there in the U-line for half an hour. I was supposed to go to Canada Day barbecue with all of our friends, and like they came down from Calgary, so we already had stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, do I take this opportunity? Like I don't have a sign, I don't have a table, like I have enough to do our next shipment that we sold out. So my jars were already sold. So if I had to sell that at the farmer's market, I would have to do another batch the next day. And I knew I was going to get hungover the next day.
Right.
My friends were here, right?
It was Canada Day.
It was Canada Day, right?
Yeah.
So we were so I was like, fuck it. I told them, like, I don't have a sign. I don't have a table. They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. So I told my wife, I was driving home. I was like, I remember my daughter has like a chalkboard triangle thing.
Right.
Like it's pink, looks ghetto as shit. I told my wife, I'm like, my wife has phenomenal writing.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, can you write on the sign for me? Come try the smell and taste test. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going to do a pop-up at El Mero food truck. She's like, so you're not going to come to the Canada? I'm like, no, I'll come. I'll still cook everything. And I'm just going to head out for about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the El Mero food truck. I went there and I was embarrassed, but I was just like, is this really going to work, man?
Am I going to fall on my face? And then not only that, all the momentum that you've built up
Right?
It's
So
like, yo,
everybody had tents, balloons,
yeah,
and signage.
everybody's gonna know you for the pink chalkboard
Yeah,
sign.
and like even when Kate came up to me and talked to me, he's like, "Yo, this is your section." I put up my side, and all the servers were like laughing because they're like, "What the hell is come and smell, right?" So then I was standing there, and then of course, like people just kept walking past me, and I was like, "You know what? I gotta do something." Opened up the bottle, ran around like a madman. I was like, "Hey, do you like spicy food?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Smell this." I knew as soon
As they smelt it.
they were gonna buy it,
Right.
and after that, I got my first sale. I'm like, "This is gonna work."
Yeah.
I ran around like everybody was. I went to this chocolate. I'm like, "Hey, you went to this, went to this." 30 minutes later, we sold 30 jars.
There you go.
Like I was just like, "This is crazy." Came back and I was like, "Oh man, like we sold out," and yeah, it was wild. And then so touching base on like on Lucky Supermarket yesterday, I'm like, I don't need a sign.
Right.
I just need the product.
That's
Put
interesting.
out all the jars. They put us in the back room where there was no traffic. So eventually, like everybody was like most people would do markets would just stand there. So I did the same thing. Ran outside, stood by the DJ table where they had at the front entrance. People are coming in. I'm like, "Hey, we have a great vendor spot." I'm like, "Do you like spicy food? Smell it. Go shop around. I'll be over here." Sold a bunch of there, and then ran around to like people that were eating the food court. I was like, "Hey, do you like spicy food?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Come smell this." And then eventually we sold out like 45 jars in like 2 hours.
That's crazy. And you're still doing those pop-ups now, right? Or trying to.
I don't have anything lined up. I do have a couple vendors that wanted to ask me. I think there was a big one a couple weeks ago that asked if we wanted to be, but I was
Taste
like,
of Edmonton, or maybe Taste of Edmonton.
they messaged me, but I'm like, Taste of Enemy is like a 3-day event. Like, I still have another business. Like,
Right.
Fridays and Saturdays are so busy for us.
Right.
And like vendor cost wise, I would have to sell like 150 jars to break
Just to
even.
make it worth it.
Yeah, right. But the reason why I did Lucky's is because like they're like a flagship for us.
Right.
Like I needed to be there to help push product for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a really good relationship with Lucky's, and they don't know this, but like I get people ask all the time. It's like, "Oh, you used to be in TNT and H&W." I'm like, "No, Lucky's is the only Asian supermarket I would deal with."
Just because now
It's
is that just the loyalty factor?
Yeah, like they don't know it, but
But yeah.
to me, it's like they took a shot with us.
Right.
And I know all the owners, and I talked to everybody. Even with the whole having to pull us down, they didn't like drop our product. Like all the managers and like, "Hey, you know what? You just need to do this." And Hong, the GM, like she was really great about everything. She's like, "Hey, you just got to get your business license, go apply for your AHS permit. Once you have that, send me your new label, send me all the product, and we'll put you up." So that's my loyalty to them. Like I
Yeah.
would never approach any other Asian markets.
That's crazy, and good on them, right? Because it's always one of those things, like you see like businesses and things like popping up
Yeah.
all the time. Have you seen any people competitors or like
No.
trying to
No.
clone it?
No. Not at the moment.
No.
That's like chili, man. Like
Yeah.
our ingredients, like even if you took our product, like the recipe's there.
Right. So you
Like,
could just
it's nothing different.
no.
It's the same with everything. A burger's a burger.
Yeah. It's
Branding's
just how you met. Yeah.
branding's everything, man. Like to me, it's like this is my mom's recipe.
Right.
You might be able to take it, but you can't take what my mom built.
Yeah, like the
like-
spirit of it.
Yeah, like that was our brand. I was like, man, how am I gonna brand this? I was like, told Chappie D, I'm like, we're Drunken Phở. She's like, I'm gonna steal my mom's recipe, and then we created that brand, and I ran with it.
Right.
Like, this is something that we stole from our mom. My mom doesn't care, man. Like,
Right.
she loves the idea. Like, I tell her all the time, like, "Mom, we sold out." Like, our first 4 times, she didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she still doesn't know that we're in Lucky's.
That's crazy.
She's in Vietnam right now, and like, if anybody knows, if you have an Asian mom, no matter what you do, they will never be proud of you. I mean, like, I went to Harvard, like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah.
got a scholarship." Like, nothing's ever good enough. But my mom is really proud of me, man.
That's
Like,
good,
she
man.
is actually my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Like, this is my mom's mom.
Oh,
This is my wife's mom.
Yeah.
Like, this is not even my mom. Like,
Yeah.
but I live with my parents, so it's like, I understand the love that she makes, and cooking is her love language.
Right.
So even when we launched the product, like, I wanted to stay true to like what she brought to like her recipe, right? Like, I want to stay true to that recipe, content wise.
So talk to me about like collaborations now. Like, has there
that's
been
really cool.
any like, what are some, besides Backstairs Burger, what are some other like collaborations, and what did you like, what was like the learning through that, or even just like what was the payoff outside of like selling your product?
Yeah, so my idea was eventually, like in the beginning, it was like I was paying for all the food.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive.
Right.
So eventually I was like, you know what? Maybe, am I at the point where I could reach out to restaurant? So I finally sent my first DM, and I probably sent like 30, 40 DMs before I got my first yes. And Ohana Poke was one of my first collaborations. They were really great. And they said, come by, we'll send you some stuff. And eventually that got to a point, I'm like, oh, this will work. Then eventually I sent out DMs everywhere. And then now I do have restaurants reach out to me. And then I think Marco's Famous was really good. They reached out a couple times. Backstairs Burgers is probably one of the closest relationships that I have with, where they actually hold our product.
Yeah.
Nax and Bistro Catering was really good. They reached out and they wanted to do stuff with us, and we're actually going to do a collab, like food thing with them in the next couple weeks or so. And getting collaborations with people is like, if you don't ask, you'll never get.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're always scared, it's like to doing collaborations with people, I'm like, you just gotta ask, man. Like, it doesn't hurt. Of course, you can get, like people saying no in the beginning, right? Because people don't know who you are. And like, I'm a dude in a car with black gloves. Like, does it fit with their brand? There's tons of restaurants where like, you know what, this is not something that's going to work for us. And, I appreciate all the people that did, accept it, our chilio. Because I did tell them, I'm like, I'm going to use your food, but I'm going to use it with our chilio.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, cool. We love the idea.
Now, is there any like, in terms of just like understanding the idea of collaboration, do you ever have in your mind of like what is appropriate to ask for, what is too much to ask for? Or do you kind of leave it up to them to decide?
I do leave it up to them, but eventually I am getting to the point where it's a lot of food.
Right.
And it's getting hard to talk about all the food in 60 minutes.
Right.
Or 60 seconds. It's hard to edit all that in 60 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Of course, like I'm still trying to put our product out there, their product out there, with like doing justice for both. And yeah, there's some places, man, they just give me so much food where I'm like, I love your guys' food, but it's a lot.
Yeah, and I
So
can't
I try to tell them, like, tell me what you guys want to promote. Let me know if there's a special you guys really want. I'm like, always give me your best seller, and then give me a feature that you want people to talk about. So Hudson Pubs reached out and they were doing like a summer menu, so I did their summer menu for them. And Backstairs originally, even when I was talking with Levi, he's like, what do you want to try? I'm like, bro, just give me what you're known for. And if it takes off, we'll do more.
Right.
Yeah, so give me your top seller, right? Because if you're trying to promote your new product, it's not going to work.
Right. And is there any like, was that a lot of like trial and error, or did you, of like knowing like actually what foods like work, what foods don't, what I can record with, what I can't? And was there any like massive like quote unquote like failures? Like, was there anything that you thought, hey, this was going to be a huge hit?
Yeah. Oh man, there was a couple videos that I did. I always thought that like fried chicken would do really good. So I ended up trying Rob's fried chicken. It didn't get as much traction as I wanted. And maybe because I didn't talk to him, maybe I'm going to do a video with them again. But there was a bunch of videos, but I never really thought about it that way. I'm like, just put the content. And I'm like, sometimes there's a video that I post, so I'm like, yeah, it's just a video and it takes off. I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like Backstairs Burger, we got 500,000 views.
Yeah.
That was the big one that really took off. And I was like, whoa, most of them gets between 2,000 to 3,000. And then there was a T-licious one where it's like an egg sandwich. You got like 17,000. Like you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
More or less, I just eat what I feel like eating.
Right. And that's honestly like a good mentality to have, because then you're not like thinking too much.
Yeah.
Because then you think,
of course, right?
Yeah.
And like you're trying to do what's trending. I'm like, I'm not a mukbang person.
Right.
Like that's not my shtick.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing.
You're doing it to promote the brand.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, if I'm gonna do that, I should promote restaurants. You know, what I'm like, oh, what do I feel like eating today? So I message Sushi, and whoever takes up the first spot, I'm like, hey, cool, we're booked. And if people ask, I'm like, hey, we're gonna have to reschedule.
Right.
Stuff like that. And usually when I find a really good place, I'm like, I want to build loyalty with them. And I try not to do too many other burger places or sushi places. And
it just gets like, it gets so like wishy-washy of like, what am I trying to accomplish here?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like, is this what I really want to be? I'm like, food is not my thing, man. It's
right.
just
It's just a vehicle to get people back.
100%. I'm not a mukbang person. I don't want no like pay. Like, I get people ask me all the time. They'll pay me for food views. I'm like, no, I don't care.
Nah.
I'm like, if you want to give me food, cool. Like, I know like a lot of like, no shame on them. Like, that's their business. Like, that's their whole
Right.
thing about, like, that's their what is it? Influencer things. Like, they
Right.
get paid for that kind of stuff, right? And I've had restaurants offer me like hundreds of dollars and I don't take it. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not my business. And I'm not in it for that.
What is the cost of one of these?
Yeah, so right now, if you buy one jar, it's $15.
Okay.
But we do offer bundle packages.
The more you buy, the bigger the
Yeah,
discount.
it's cheaper, right? And we offer discount codes for first-time buyers, like stuff like that. But if you buy it in storefronts, it's because our $15 costs at storefront, we give them a 50% profit margin.
Right.
So we sell at them wholesale at $10 a jar.
Right.
So eventually my goal is like, if we can have a co-packager, of course I want to bring the product down.
Yeah.
Like, but
Well, even $15 is a wicked price.
yeah, we're actually not profiting.
Yeah.
It's our loss leader.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's enough for us to kind of keep
Break
going.
even.
Yeah, and just to grow. Like my goal right now is just grow 10 to 20% every month.
Right.
Like I'm never gonna put out 500 jars because that's like $3-4 grand. I'm not gonna put out 4K.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for me, right? So it's like this is still our loss leader, believe it or not.
So how do you like? What are your factors in like sustaining that? Like keeping staff low, doing it yourself?
I'm just doing it by myself, man. Like my mom wants to help, but ideally it's like now that we are in Quality Kitchens, you need a food handling certificate. So my mom can't be there to help. My wife asked to help me. I'm like, you can.
Yeah, because you got to go get the course.
Yeah, right. You got to pay for the course. And my mom, like the food handling certificates, like I can take the test from my mom, but when you take the test, like they Zoom you. So
Yeah.
I can't even fake that.
Yeah.
So eventually I would like to hire staff to kind of help and like get me to the point where if we do get that massive order, but I'm already talking to a co-packager.
Yeah.
If I ever hit to that 2,000 to 1,000 scale mark.
So what would that mean in terms of co-packaging? Like you give them the recipe.
Yeah, so they have to sign the NDA. We have to go into the recipe. So the person that I'm talking to right now, they have a lab in-house.
Okay.
Because we have to test pH levels of every batch. Just because with jarring there is a case of like botulism.
Okay.
So that's another thing I
like
learned.
contaminated jars.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're using fresh ingredients, right? You have to keep the moisture level low, or else bacteria will grow in the product. And then even when we first got our label, because to be able to be shipped across Canada, we have to be CFIA approved, which was scary as shit too, because then we had to get lab tested. So we had we had to send our product into a lab to prove that we were safe pH level.
Right.
Stressful, most stressful 2 weeks of my life.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was shelf-stable, but I didn't know 100%.
You didn't know like the science behind it, and then they come back and be like, "Yo,
it's not shelf-stable." And then
then
I would have to tell Lucky, I'm like, "Fuck, we're not shelf-stable. Like, you have to put us in the fridge, right?" Like those 3 weeks of getting us approved to everything was probably the scariest thing in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I was stressed as shit, and I was working every day. See, these AHS would call me. I'm like, tell my client I had to run to the hallways, and they would ask me questions. I was like, they're like, send me this. So I send them emails. Like I'm working between working, and then even then, like I'd wake up at 5 a.m. and go on Google. I'm like, what do I need to prove? And this first label, like we still have to improve this label,
right?
And I would send these ChatGPT. I'm like, can you get this approved? And then I send it to CFAA, and I'm like, yeah, this looks good. And I had to send to AHS and like, yeah, this looks good. And getting our GS1 like barcode and registering all the products if we're going to be in a storefront. Like it's.
How do you keep yourself like grounded through all of this? Because it does
man,
sound like a lot of stress, man.
I'm trying, man. Like it's so crazy because like I'm just trying. I always like I get a lot of questions like, how do you like stay, like you said, stay grounded? I'm like, you got to figure out your why, man. Like, if your why is bigger, every obstacle you face wouldn't matter.
Right.
Like there's so many days I wanted to call quits.
Yeah.
As soon as CFIA and AHS, I'm like, it's very easy for me to be like, you know what, it's not worth it.
I'm good.
I have a full-time nail salon that we're busy all year round. Like,
right.
So I'm like, oh, maybe this is not it. But then to me, it's just like I constantly am always thinking about like, if I was to die tomorrow, what would people say at my funeral?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if I honestly was to go away, I'm like, I started something. It's cool.
Yeah.
It was something to be like, you know what? Let's keep a legacy for our family.
Right.
I wanted something like, this is our family's products.
Right.
And then we wanted continually to grow. And I was like, this is only the beginning.
Do you think that takes like a level of self-awareness to like understand like, yo, this doesn't work and I have to be okay with like, where's like the drawing the line of like a level of stubbornness to also like a level of knowing when to like dial it back, or like when AHS calls and making those tough calls to like, and you probably don't even have a choice, but like when it comes to like getting that criticism,
Yeah.
how are you like measuring that out of like, yo, this is something I need to push, and then this is something like, no, they're right, I need to do this.
Yeah. Like for years, like, you know how the saying goes, like, who you surround yourself with is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have a lot of like mentors and stuff like that. But the great thing about social media and our phones now is like, you can listen to podcasts, you can get advice from people. Like, success leaves clues. It
Right.
doesn't matter. Gary Vee, Lewis Howes,
Little cookie crumbs.
like cookie crumbs, right? They all say the same thing. You will never, the roadmap to success is never going to be a straight line.
No.
You are going to face so many obstacles, and how you overcome them, you will constantly grow. So, and I was like, okay, this is just an obstacle. Like for me to get AHS, like, I don't know what kept me going, but my obsession with people loving the product.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I took this away now, all the people that love their product wouldn't be able to get our product. So I was just like, my goal was just like, I need to get this out as fast as possible to as many people as possible.
Do you think this do you think this transferred into other areas, like the lessons that you've learned building this brand?
100%.
Do you think it like transferred into like how you run a nail salon, how you are a father, and like what examples of that would you see?
I think definitely having the nail salon first, like, taught me, like, business wise, and especially with COVID, like, everything can be taken away from you so fast. So even if you have a business plan, or you can have all the ideas and anything like set out to map, and you can have goals and you can have all this, it can all change in an instant. So it doesn't matter. You don't need a perfect plan. You're going to fail. So fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, move quickly, learn as quick as you possibly can, and then keep growing. If you're gonna stop at every single obstacle that hits your way, it's like you're never gonna scale like possible at all.
Right.
So it's like, as soon as you can overcome those failures quicker, you can move faster.
Right.
So it's like, even with our first, couple batches, I was just like, oh man, this fucking sucks, man. Like, and then you eventually, you build thicker skin. Like, you eventually will just realize that I guess after the first 2 weeks that we launched, and then pushing back our launches, as soon as I got certified and I was like, I dropped that batch, we sold out.
Right.
So it always taught me, like, every time you overcome an obstacle, you get rewarded.
Yeah.
It's like Gary Vee says, fail, get a little bit of success.
Yeah.
Fail, you get a little bit of success.
And then you're like, this is what I totally agree with you. Cause it's like, once you get that, you're kind of like,
you're addicted.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, the method works.
Yeah.
I just need to either scale it or figure out a way to get there.
100%.
Instead of being like, yo, the buck stops here, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I think, and it's funny because without getting too off, I always tell people like, yeah, like the fear of it is one thing. Yeah. And I forget who the quote's by. I wish I could find it. But they said like the fear is one thing, but like what's the receipt for regret?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because like I have a coworker of mine, and he's running for like municipal elections, and he's like, oh, but like if I don't get reelected, I'm gonna come back here and I'm not gonna get like my same ranking, blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, but are you gonna sit here for four years thinking about what would happen if you did? Like, regardless, even if you do it and fail, it's gonna be a lot better than not doing it.
Yeah.
And shitting on yourself
100%.
forever.
And I think I sat with that question too when we got that. I was like, if I quit now, I know for 100% I'm going to regret this.
Yeah.
Because we had so much momentum.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm like, if I quit now, like, man, I will always sit back and do nails. I'm like, man, where could it have gone?
Yeah.
I've done that before. You know, if I started other businesses, and I felt like I always quit too fast.
Right.
And oftentimes, I do try to surround myself with like positive like messages. Like, success is just so close, man. You ever seen that image where the two miners?
Yeah.
The
And
guy
he's
was
right there.
So
Yeah.
one more pick, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I really gonna let something like this stop me? Like, because I had to get an HS permit? Like, am I gonna give up my flagship with Lucky's? Am I gonna give up all this momentum? And I was like, man, I'll suck it up. I'll put out the $2,000 for all the permits. So like, I put out all that money, like
Yeah.
business license, all that stuff, and my first rent with Claudia Kitchens, like everything was up front.
Right.
So I was like, at this point, I'm like, this is gonna be a real business.
Yeah.
This is gonna be something. I'm like, and I had no doubt. I signed the papers, sent everything, and it just
Yeah, that's and too, it's like you kind of going into it knowing like, all right, here we go.
Here it is.
Yeah, here we go. And you have to identify with that early and be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's like this imposter syndrome we talk about.
I honestly, I became obsessed with this. Like, people don't know this, but as soon as when we first launched, that was my screensaver.
Yeah.
Like,
Just as like
our logo. Every day I wake up, I took my daughter off my screensaver, and I had to look at it every day. Like, I became obsessed with this.
Yeah.
And I could not stop thinking about it. No matter how tired I am, every time I make a batch, I get this euphoric feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the fact that people love the product. I love the fact that multiple people came to us yesterday and was like, dude, I fucking love your shit. DMs, people was like, man, the first day I got the jar, like, it's half gone. Like, and I just got addicted to that feeling. I was just like, man, this is just so crazy to me that I'm still here and I still haven't processed this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still thinking like, what's next for us? Like, end goal wise, it's like, I still haven't taken time to sat down. Like, 4 months ago, we started with an idea, and the fact that we're actually in 2 more locations other than Lucky's, I'm not going to say, but we got to deal with 2 more storefronts, and it's like, it's still crazy to me. Like, people love the brand and they love the product.
So what's your, like, do you have any like long-term goals when you look at like a year from now? Where is like, is there like a target you're trying to hit?
Yeah, of course. Like, I don't know if I want to let the cat out of the bag.
No, of course.
But this is just a stepping stone to what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So we just launched our new flavor yesterday.
Okay.
So it's spicy AF.
Okay.
Because a lot of people say this is not spicy enough.
So you wanted to keep this as it is.
Yeah, so it's like a middle ground. So I am going, after this, I'm going to go to Claudia Kitchens and make like the whole new batch.
Shit.
And Spicy AF is going to be released. So it's kind of cool. And even then, like, we have a whole bundle.
Mm-hmm.
So after Spicy AF is going to get launched, we have Baby Spice.
Okay.
So it's kind of like for everybody, we want to have the package out by Christmas to have like a Christmas bundle.
So you'll have one of each?
Yeah. One of each. We have, crack meals coming out.
That's sick.
I make a seasoning that's like MSG. Like, I put seasoning on everything, and usually for like Thanksgiving and Christmas party, people always ask me, it's like, what do you put on the seasoning? Salt? And so I really want to eventually make a seasoning salt one day with Drunken Phở that's MSG, and it's like, make shit good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but our end goal with this is I still want that pho restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, this is just to get me there.
That's just the launch pad.
Yeah, like Drunken Phở still at the end of the day, like, this is my mom's.
Yeah.
But my ideal, like, I still think about, I want that pho shop.
Right.
Like, no matter what. And I think as soon as we launch that pho restaurant, and I do that first mukbang with a Drunken Phở bowl, like, people will be dying to try it.
Yeah. No, that's, and the idea that you have a plan in place, or you have an idea or a vision moving forward, it's not only like inspiring for the customer to know that like your heart's in it, right? Because it's like something that kind of like transcends to the audience too, of knowing like, okay, we can tell that like there's real like love in the brand. And yeah, man, that's
like, I love doing nails.
Yeah,
I do. But that's my wife's business. I
Right.
only did nails because I moved down here, and like when we first got together, like I didn't have a business plan.
Right.
You know, we always talked about getting married. So I actually had a restaurant before in Calgary. It was like some other shit I failed at. So I failed business before.
Mm-hmm.
So when I moved down here and I did nails with my wife, it's like that's her business. I help her grow that business. Like technically it's hers, but I still always wanted something that was mine. And I love food, man. It's like food is, it makes everybody happy. And I feel like there's a missing market for what's needed in the Vietnamese community right now. It's like there's no real good, authentic pho place.
Right.
Like you can't just go there and there's a Vietnamese restaurant. There's tons of good Vietnamese restaurants. But the concept of Vietnam is that when you go to the Vietnamese street food, they only have one thing. They will only sell one item. That's it.
Right.
So I'm like, I just want to make the best pho possible. And this right here is like the different taste. I eat at so many pho places and I'm like, I should have brought our chili oil.
Right.
I'm like, that's the differential because I try the chili oil. I'm like, yo, this sucks, bro.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I could have totally
This
nailed
shit's out of a can. Like, I could
Yeah.
taste it. I'm like, this is like, there's some places that will make their own chili stuff, man. But I'm like, this is
it.
This is going to be the gatekeep between
Yeah.
everything else. But 90% of business fail in restaurants. So I'm like, if I launch the pho thing first, it's hard to build brand. I'm competing against everybody.
But this kind of brings them back.
Yeah, man. I'm like, what can we create to just draw attention?
It's amazing.
And so I'm like, yo, Drunken Phở, man. As soon as I launch that pho restaurant,
that's it.
It's gonna be
game over.
Game over. And my concept, man. My pho restaurant is like so unique. It's
That's
like
amazing.
I'm very excited. We're gonna test run it in January.
Mm-hmm.
So from 6 months from now, it's like I'm just trying to figure out cost of goods, takeout containers, like where do I buy stuff? And thank God, like I have a relationship with Lucky, so I'm very lucky to that. And I'm trying to figure out like what's the best like starting point to get us from there. So I'm very excited.
That's
I do
good.
have an end goal.
Before we let you go, what do you think would be the biggest piece of advice to someone that's trying to get a brand off?
Like, if you're starting a side hustle, like if you always have an idea to start a side hustle, I think it's good. But I'm like, if you are going to start a side hustle, always ask yourself, it's like, what's my end goal with this? I say dream big. If you're willing to dream big, always ask the $1 million question. And we have ChatGPT for that. It's like, let's just say if you had a cookie business, it's like, I want to start a cookie business. Where do I start from starting at home to $1 million? And it will draft out everything numbers wise. And like, you need to know your numbers because if you're not going to be profitable and if you're just going to be starting out, if you can't grow, then I think you just got to take the big risks and just start it. Like make your first post and take your Instagram handle. And I think my best advice is like, if you're always starting with an idea, write it down. If you have an idea, write it down because it becomes tangible. You can look at it every day. You can move forward. You can, ask for samples of jars or, talk to restaurants. Say, hey, we're going to do this and do this. And, just get started.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. It's like, I think too many people are too nervous of like, being on social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even some places now, I'm like, you got to make videos. Like,
yeah. Oh, you have to.
Like if you're still starting out and taking pictures,
just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work, man.
Yeah.
Just post reels. Like like reels are what's popping off right now. And
yeah.
It just makes more sense. Like just shoot the videos.
Shoot the videos,
Shoot
man.
the goddamn videos, man. You're already editing content anyways.
Steven, thank you so much for coming on, man. Everybody, don't forget to go on to drunkenpho.ca. Check out their stand at Lucky 7.
Yeah.
Get their product at Lucky 7 Supermarket.
Yeah.
And be checking in with their social medias. Check out the Drunken Mukbang, Drunken Phở on social media, as well to follow up on any things they got going on, any new releases. As we heard, there's a lot coming out. So stay tuned.
Big things.
Thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
man.
you so much
it's
for
been a
having me.
pleasure, dude. And we can't wait to reach out to you in a few months' time to see how everything's going, man.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
No problem. With that has been episode 52 of Solo Spotlight with Steven Nguyen of the Drunken Phở. Thank you very much.